Hello everybody! Today we're going to be reading the responses to the question, what is something you will say here but not to people you know in real life? And I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to assume that a lot of these are people bitching and moaning about relationships and they're not communicating directly to the person. Because for some reason, we love to talk extensively in detail online about the things that we should talk to our friends and family in real life about. We tend to just be unable to find the words in real life for some reason. So let's see what people have to say. This question was originally posed by Donald the Pig. Das Angry Panda says, I know you didn't ask for advice, but you can have some anyway. I'm sorry if it's unwanted. I had a similar situation with my wife after we had been married for about 2 years or so. We stopped doing dates, doing almost anything together. Occasionally we'd have sex and watch a show, and that was about it. Our marriage would have died if not for her. A relationship needs someone, or both someones, to take the reins and make it work. Start by talking to her about how you feel. Tell her you don't want that to happen to you guys. Then plan a date day and stick to it every freaking week. Let nothing interrupt date day. And start having sex more. If you need to look at porn, then take that lust to her, so be it. But if you can, just check out her legs or booty or something all the time and just be spontaneous with sex. And finally, cook together, talk together, and never ever think you're saying I love you too much. My wife and I tell each other I love you every time we pass in a hallway, basically. Saying it all the time reaffirms the relationship and really does build even more love with each time you say it. So yeah, sorry that you didn't ask, but don't let your marriage die. Because without someone at the wheel, it will. And just because your wife isn't that someone, it doesn't mean she doesn't care. Same for you. It's just a natural rhythm to settle into. Then stagnation comes, then boredom, and then you resent each other, and then you split up. Don't let that happen. So for Sign, replied and said, we have spoken about it several times over the years. I had severe depression around when my mom died and then essentially shut everything down. But I couldn't rely on him for anything because he thought I just needed to get over it. It sounds awful summed up like that. It's going on 4 years since she passed. I'm really successful at my job, recently promoted. He says he sees me as a friend, not a girlfriend, but still wants me here, in his home, to help with remodeling. I just miss the honeymoon stage. We're just different people now. If the honeymoon stage is the best part of your relationship, you're probably not gonna work. I mean, that's like the best loving relationships. You go through multiple honeymoon stages. It's not new and interesting, and that's why you like it. You find out things about each other. You have experience together. You go through things together. Life shits on you, and you deal with it together. And that makes, it makes your love stronger for each other. And I've personally always thought honeymooning it's kind of dangerous because like you get all high off of this beginning part of the relationship, and by definition, that part is gonna end. You're gonna get more used to each other, and if you think that, like, if you get used to the excitement of that honeymoon stage and that's what you crave, then that's not sustainable. Like, you're never gonna be able to be like that constantly. You have to focus on enjoying life together, living your life doing things together. That's what really matters. Anybody can get married and have sex, and as long as you're attracted to each other, it's going to be great for the first couple months. But then you're going to find out who you really are. And that's the part where, well, most people can have sex with each other for a couple months and tolerate each other and like each other. Very few people can have sex on a weekly basis for 50 years. Almost nobody can. That takes a lot of work, and you really have to live together. And not I don't mean like live in the same place. I mean live life, do things together. That's how you're gonna get through it. 6125 adds, this is a pretty normal thing, and a lot of people feel this way, myself included. I mean, just thinking about how there are 7 billion people in the world, it's really unlikely that you're going to be the best or even the top percentile in any one thing. But at the same time, you are often better than you think. Perhaps you think you are not great at guitar, but most people haven't even picked one up. And of those people, many quit within the first year. So if you've been playing for a year, you are probably better than most people at guitar. But we often tend to compare ourselves to those who have reached or surpassed our level. The more you narrow the scope, the more mediocre you will feel, even if, compared to the broader human population, you're actually quite talented. Take a step back and realize that the fact that you are making an honest effort probably already makes you feel good. Purple Quail adds, I'm a little bit like this. English is not my first language, so I don't know if it means the same, but I think I'm okay at my job, and I'm perfectly fine with it, and I don't care about being the best. I have ambition to progress, of course, but I'm not in a hurry. I just want to do good enough that I get enough money to do the things that I like, which aren't horribly expensive, so it works awesome. My close friends are absolutely sharks and work outside their supposed work hours, and they love it. We understand each other's point of view and respect it, even though there's no way we would change places. Purple Quail adds, again, I'm also glad that I'm not the only one. As I said, my close friends respect me, but all of them live and breathe for their work. So it's nice to find someone who feels like I do. I don't know if it's the same for you, but I do find it hard when meeting new people and talking about what I do or where I am in my life. They always say like, okay, what's next? What's your next money work goal? Or how will you afford X? It's not mean, it's just what you say. Society has some crazy high standards everyone is supposed to follow, at least in the country where I live. Yeah, it's like that in most places, unfortunately. And this touches on one of my great struggles in my personal life, which is that money doesn't fix your problems. And if you aren't careful, you're going to earn more money and then be surrounded by more people who perpetuate you trying to earn more money, and you're going to get a bigger house, get a bigger car, and ultimately, you earning more money isn't going to make you exponentially more happy. Like if you earn $30,000 and you learn to live with that, and then you earn $100,000, you're not going to be 3 times as happy, even though you earn 3 times as much money. In a lot of cases, learning to be happy is about learning to appreciate what you have and being able to be happy with less. And earning more money just allows you to just always get what you need, always get what you want. And at least for me, I'm a person who like, okay, yeah, I don't want very exotic things. So it's true, I'm not rich. I couldn't afford to go on a vacation for 4 weeks in, Monte Carlo or something like that. But I also don't fucking want to. Like, I can do everything I want to do. And I can tell you that in life, you need things that you want that you can't have. And I know that sounds dumb. I know that sounds ridiculous. Like, you probably think, oh, if I just had everything I wanted, then my life would be easy and it would be great and I'd never feel depressed. And that is a total pipe dream. It's not true. And this is coming from, I'm a person who has everything I need, everything I want. I don't have to work all day. I can literally play games all day if I want to. And I'm telling you, you need things you want that you can't have, that you have to work towards. That is so fundamentally important. If you have everything, you will feel empty, you will feel depressed, and people will judge you. They'll be like, what the fuck, you have everything, why are you depressed? It's all bullshit, and there's no way to escape the judgment. If you're rich, people judge you for being materialistic and judgmental and elitist and societal and not poor. If you're poor, people judge you for being poor. If you're religious, people judge you for being religious. If you're not religious, people judge you for not being religious. If you're fat, people judge you for being fat. If you're thin, people judge you for being thin. People love talking shit, and they are more interested in talking shit and judging other people than they are in fixing their life. So because of that, because most humans are shitty, I'm not saying all humans are shitty, just most of them are, It means that you can never satisfy those people, and you will never not be judged. And what you have to do is learn to live your own life and do what you love. People are gonna judge you anyway, so fuck them, you know? Moving on. Next replies by Joe McCoy. I'm just going through all the motions. I do all of my assignments, I go to all of my classes, I do everything that I need to do, but I just struggle to feel anything about it. I have to force myself to feel things sometimes, and I worry that my lack of feeling isn't enough for my partner. And I worry about myself too, because I wasn't always like this. I don't know what happened. To all the people telling me to go to therapy, I will as soon as I have time, which at this point will be summer, I guess. To the people who told me to try drugs and alcohol, I appreciate the sentiment, but no thank you. I legally can't drink anyway. I also wanted to add that I have lately been helping release these emotions and just feel things, which is a possibly odd technique, but hey, it works, and it's helping. Thank you so much. That's good advice. A lot of people don't feel their emotions. They run away from their emotions, and they make everything worse. I mean, we all do that. We've all been through a period of time where we just need to be sad and cry, but we don't let ourselves cry and we do other stuff, right? C'est la vie. Wendy and the Found Boys adds, I genuinely implore you to reach out for help. I'm not a doctor and I can't diagnose you, obviously. All I know is my own struggle with mental health, depression specifically, and I have struggled with similar things that you are talking about. It can and it will get better. Seeing someone, even though it's scary, is so worth it. You don't have to tell your partner everything. However, if you want their help, I'm sure they'll be by your side. You can do what you need to do or want to do. There's no shame in therapy or medicine. It can literally save you. It has for me. So, I think most people struggle with depression. But for what it's worth, if you live a life where you're just, as this person says, going through the motions, you're doing what's told, you're going to school because you were told you need to go to school, you're studying something because you're told that you're a failure if you don't go to college, whatever. The point is, you're not doing things because you want to. You're doing things for other people, and you're gonna be depressed. No matter how much therapy you go to, if you live a life where every day you wake up and you go do something that you don't actually care about because somebody told you that it's what you're supposed to be doing, you are going to be depressed. That's how it works. Depression isn't a disease you have. It is a symptom of a lifestyle. If you don't have meaningful things in your life that you care about, you will be depressed. And I understand it's really, really hard because we all come into the world and we're made to live a meaningless life. And then we're like, oh, I feel depressed. The doctors are like, oh, well, you must have depression. I mean, yeah, every single day of your life, you're spending 90% of your time doing shit that doesn't matter, that you don't care about. Why is that not the focus? Why do we focus on, oh, yeah, so you're skating by and not doing anything that makes you happy, and you're sad? What? Oh, something must be wrong with you. Like, fuck that. That's so dumb. If you don't have meaningful action in your life, you won't feel like your life has meaning. You can't just think that because you're doing what you're told, that is meaningful to you. Finding meaning is hard. It is a struggle. You have to do so much bullshit that other people are going to tell you is wrong. You have to fight so much judgment that I get it, because the path of least resistance is to just go through the motions, do what you're told, and have no fucking idea what makes you happy, and then be depressed. That is literally the path of least resistance if you are born a human in the modern time. That's what's going to happen to you. That's why you have to fight. You have to fight against the judgment. You have to accept people are going to judge you, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing you can do to escape judgment. You should not be doing things to try and escape being judged. You should be doing things because you love them, you are interested in them, and you want to try. If you feel interested in doing anything, who cares why? Just do it. It doesn't matter. All the judgments you have about yourself, all these insecurities, they are pointless, and they are just a habit, a voice we tell ourselves that we can change. All right? So if you're feeling depressed and you're feeling lost, I encourage you, go to therapy, get talked to, but also understand that if you live a meaningless life, you will feel depressed and meaningless. If you feel depressed, it's because there aren't enough things in your life that make you feel like it's worth waking up. And I understand it's easier said than done. If you're in that position, what are you supposed to do? If you don't have meaning and you've never known what it's like to have meaning, how do you find it? There's no easy answer to that. But I want you to understand that you can find it. There is a way for you to be excited about waking up. There's something that's so interesting to you that most of the time it will make you happy. You just got to figure out what that something is. And the key to that is trying new things, trying new things, trying new things, trying new things. And if that doesn't work, revisit your childhood, revisit your childhood, revisit your childhood. That's how you can get out of it, okay? Best of luck. Moving on. Pari adds, how much do you exercise? I find I struggle with this, especially in the winter. Because the weather is miserable, I do a lot of sitting. I sit at work, I come home and I sit and play video games or I watch television. COVID has only made this worse. The lack of exercise will really get to you mentally. Being mentally exhausted from school or work fools your body into feeling physically exhausted too, but it actually isn't. This creates an imbalance. Sometimes it manifests as lack of sleep. Your mind may race. You may be tense all the time. You may feel an overwhelming sense of boredom, a lack of feeling, etc. Once I finally convince myself into some sort of exercise regimen, it always makes me feel better. It can be difficult to get started though. I have to force myself at first. It helps to have your spouse, partner, or friend in on it, someone who can push you to do it. You could take up something like martial arts. Taekwondo has helped me a lot. If learning another skill is too mentally exhausting at the moment though, do something more mindless at first, like jogging or cycling, getting a gym membership, etc. It may be hard to get started, but keep with it, and you'll feel mentally better. My husband and I bought an exercise bike and stuck it in front of the television. It makes exercise a lot easier if you can keep yourself mentally entertained at the same time. Yeah, that's a great. Convenience is everything. So if you're watching TV and you put exercise equipment in front of the TV, like, yeah, you still have to use it, but you're gonna see it every time you watch TV, and at least a part of you will think, oh, I could use that. It's easier to make things convenient for you than it is to force yourself into doing inconvenient things. I sell fog ads. Afraid of drawing any attention. I feel that so much, but often I realize I want to draw attention to myself too. Then I feel some kind of shame and the cycle continues. Often in life, I just want time to pass without any intercourse, but I also crave for them. Interesting thing is, I notice that my dreams often carry that feeling. The feeling of trying not to draw any attention, just kind of being there without wanting to. Afraid to even think about doing something I want and feeling the pressure of others, just kind of roaming, walking, and not talking much. Then after I wake up, I feel really bad and maybe even mad at myself for not feeling free and for being a coward, even in my dreams. I think I feel that pressure because I care too much about how others will analyze me, think about me, and that is because I don't have enough faith in myself and knowledge of who I am. The cure, though, is experience. It's just going into the fire and getting outer, stronger, wiser, and more confident. Whoa, this person's wise as hell. Holy shit. Yeah, we all think that we don't have enough, that we're not good enough, and we all think that we're the only one who feels that way. And you get to a point in your life, a moment you might say, where you realize that every other human is battling the same insecurities you think were only you. And it helps because for me at least, I used to think I was totally worthless. I didn't have any skills. I didn't really have any hobbies. I used to really, really like psychedelics, and I was like, oh, what? The only thing I'm passionate about is psychedelic drugs? Like, what the fuck? What's the point of this? This is dumb. I judged myself. I was critical of myself. But 10 years later, by taking life by the balls and living and not allowing myself to do things that are not beneficial for my future, now it's totally different. I have skills. I have a network of people I know. I know how to make products. I know how to be useful. I know how to sound so confident that it rewires other people to feel positive. I know how to cheer people up. I don't always have the energy for it, but I can do all these things. This is stuff I wouldn't have even been dreamed I could do 10 years ago. And it's all about how you respond to your insecurities. It's not about whether you have them or don't. Everybody feels insecure. Everybody feels numb when they look at their own body. You may think that, oh, you're too fat or you're too thin or whatever, but there's someone in this world who thinks you are beautiful. There's more than one person. No matter how you are, even if you think you have some crazy deformity, believe it or not, there are people who like deformities because they're so bitter and hurt by regular fake-looking people. Like me personally, I hate makeup because I was in a relationship with somebody who wore a lot of it and didn't do anything to really fix her life. She spent most of her time watching television and going out and partying and getting into bad situations and getting raped and stuff. And that was her life. There wasn't creative expression. There wasn't other stuff in it. And that was really, really, really hard. But it showed me that everybody has insecurity. And if you think that it's just you, that's okay. But understand that most other people are going home and crying themselves to sleep, thinking the same things that you are thinking. And that's what's so crazy about our lives. Like, there are 8 billion humans on this planet. And most of them go to bed feeling lonely. Isn't that weird? Like, it's so silly how we have enough resources to do everything. Our world has enough to fix all of its problems. We don't, but not because we can't. Simply because we're not in the habit of fixing things. And that's why if you know anybody who doesn't complain and actually does their best to be positive and learn and express themselves and be creative, you need to hold that person very close because they are very, very, very rare. Most people just want to complain about their life, and that's what humans do. The vast majority of humans, you can imagine that like 8 or 9 out of every 10 humans is going to spend most of their time complaining. They're going to be single. They're going to get into a relationship, get really happy, complain a little bit less, but then that honeymoon period ends, and then they're going to go back to the way they were and complain, and maybe the relationship ends, and then they feel morbidly depressed, and they complain, and then at some point they die. That's literally what happens to most humans. And all you have to do to step out of that cycle is to stop complaining about shit. You're not going to just magically be a more confident person. But every time you complain, you are saying, I don't want to fix this problem. I would prefer to complain about it instead. Every time you complain, that's what you're really saying. So all you have to do is change that and stop complaining about stuff. That causes so many other things to happen. And sometimes in life, we can't think of the big picture all the time. We just have to focus on one thing. And for most people, that one thing is just don't complain. And if you're feeling like complaining, what you actually probably want is connection with another human. You're complaining not because you need to complain, but because it's so easy to connect with other humans because everybody likes to complain. So if you complain, it makes you relatable to other humans who want to complain about stuff. And we complain not because we want to complain, not because it's good to complain, but because we crave social connection. And by complaining, other people will complain with us and agree with our complaints, and we get the social connection. But the complaining causes a lot of problems down the road, so I really encourage you. Complain less and acknowledge that you just want to talk to somebody or look them in the eye. You don't need to complain to accomplish that. And complaining actively attracts other people to you who also complain. And it repels people who don't complain. So please try to stop complaining. Every time you complain, call yourself out and ask yourself instead, what can you do to make the situation better? All right? I think that's pretty much it for now. This has been a long video, right? Yep. All right, everybody, that's it for now. I appreciate your time, effort, and attention. If you want to support our channel, please do one of the 4 following. Comment on this video, like one of our other videos, subscribe to the channel, or like this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!